had a question when I was streaming earlier on the other platform. I actually don't know why people don't talk about the different platforms when they're streaming on one. When I was streaming on TikTok earlier, had a good question about how to keep combat exciting. I'm still thinking about that conversation. I think that would make a fun set of videos. So now I'm thinking about that. I think it would be fun to try to illustrate different ways that combat can be kept changing and the stakes can keep sort of twisting and either rising, or it doesn't have to, stakes don't have to always rise. Not every fight has to be the end of the world, but to be made interesting, I guess. It's almost beyond the like there's always, when people talk about like how do we keep combat moving, how do we keep combat from being boring, sometimes the conversation can get to player things, right? Like here's how to try to motivate the players to move faster, the players to roll their attack and their damage dice together. But at a certain point, it sort of misses, I feel like it a little bit misses the point. It's like, well, if your players are bored or if the combat isn't exciting, I mean, yes, that can be a little bit to blame on the characters, or on the players, I should say, but it's like, well, why are they bored? Why isn't it exciting? Or why aren't they scared that they need to prevent something bad from happening, right? Not totally blaming DMs on this, but I think we can take a little bit of responsibility of saying, well, is there a better way to design this thing? I think the example I used was in general, if the players get a sense that the combat is won and it's just a matter of whittling down numbers, it's just a matter of like getting the health to go down, then it's boring. That's the exact moment you can pinpoint, I think, when combat becomes boring. And it's one of the reasons that, like, one of the best things to do with combat is to try to make sure there's always something else going on. So if, for instance, there's, it's a fight going down in the tavern, make sure that one of the guys isn't fighting. He's just trying to, like, make off with, the loot, or he's trying to steal money from behind the bar, or he's going to go and like take the horses or something that's like a separate thing. That way the players have choices to make, whether it's, do we stay here and pummel this guy that we're beating and let that guy out there get away with all of our gold from the last dungeon, that we explored, or what? So maybe I'll do a couple videos about combat design. Keep my combat fresh with new homebrew monsters, because you can only use phase spiders and manticores so often. Yeah, it's really true, isn't it? Yeah, you have to find new ways to introduce them, new ways to like new environments, new ways to make them threatening. Like the ultimate threat of the last adventure I ran in the Feywild, this town kept collapsing in. It was a time loop situation, so the players had many loops through to try to figure out, why does this town keep collapsing on itself? And the answer ended up being that there was this one. It was a type of phase spider that it was a fey spider, a fey phase spider, But this particular type would bring some of the ground with it. It was almost like a messy phase where it would like sort of take itself and everything around it and sort of teleport with it. And what kept happening to this town was the mines underneath had these stones that the spiders would feed on, and at some point during this one terrible hour, a whole bunch of these things began teleporting in and basically just like excavating underneath the town, and it all kind of fell in on itself. So my most recent threat is a fringe group of magic users that have throwable stones that roll on an expanded wild magic table. Well, that's cool. That is a fun idea. Your question, have I ever ran a false Hydra? I have. Yep. I hope to again, though the situation has not lent itself to that, unfortunately. Have you, or are you thinking about running one? Yeah, nice. It's a cool way to do it. I did it with a mysterious pack that was found in their rooms, and when they investigated, they found a series of letters that seemed to describe experiences that they had all had, as though somebody had been with them the entire time. If I do it again, I'd like to try that same idea, but with a prop that is a journal that has been kept by that player, sort of noting things. And I think it's also a decent opportunity, especially depending on where you drop it in game. This isn't how I used it, but it's a decent opportunity to say like that player was a cleric or some sort of healer, and so that would explain why all of a sudden the game at whatever level you're at just gets like all of a sudden harder. It's like because you guys didn't know that this whole time you had a secret healer with you, or a forgotten healer, I should say. Kind of an interesting wrinkle. The one time that I ran the false Hydra for my group, they were unsuccessful. They did not save the town. They and kudos to them. They didn't fight it. They played it as like they all in the fight against it. They all failed a fairly straightforward check to resist the creature trying to basically re-slumber them. And as soon as that worked out, like they woke up the next day and had no reason to stay, and they left town. So that particular town was not saved. Maybe the next adventuring group will fix it. How did your players handle it when you asked, or when you started referencing the 5 of them? Oh, nice. Yeah, water to acid would be a pretty good. That'd be a pretty good spell to have in that situation. Yeah, it's something that I want to do another round of sort of design thinking on, because it's a really cool thing to experience, and I'm not sure that I've mined everything out of it that I can at the table for the game. So, but I definitely have plans to do it again, because I think it's a really fun and unique monster, unique arc. I tend to really like I like anything that sort of fits well with. It's sort of like the Twilight Zone, or almost like a Star Trek experience of, you know, venturing to uncharted or strange places, and then you know, trying to piece together what the heck's going on. I think that fits pretty well with how I like to run the game. And I think it's more satisfying than, for me at least, than running a game where it's just like, how are you going to go beat this? This is a really hard monster. This is a really difficult monster. It's like, well, in order to win the day, you have to figure out first what's the cause of this stupid problem, whatever is going on, whether there's a time loop or people forgetting, you know, what happened the day before, stuff like that. Some mysterious person is threatening and making people disappear, stuff like that. Let's see, what else did I do today? I did start creating a Discord, so I'll get that probably finished up tomorrow, and then get that posted to my site. So that'll be fun to start seeing what that turns into. It's interesting potential, that's for sure. think the last time that I ran a sewer, which I have terrain for, it's not super awesome, but it's fine. It was a side shot. It was a one shot in the context of my game, and the players had, it was one of those situations where not everybody was going to be around. Typical one shot situation.